I gotta represent my life with it. I gotta let them know about Christ, how he died with it. Shed his love through his blood.
Oh, so good. What's going on, Miss Keisha? How you doing? What's going on? Good, that's good, that's good. What's going on Facebook Live? What's up? Hey Aaron, how you doing? That's not trap music, that's gospel. Jason, what's going on, buddy? We played this one on the air before, Keisha. I don't know if you remember this one. This was a couple weeks ago. No, several weeks ago, actually. This is HD with his song Squad Up. He's a gospel rapper out of Oklahoma City. What's going on? What's going on? All right. This is not trap. This isn't trap music, though. I hope everybody had a good burnt chicken nugget built. That's a new one. All right. That's cute. All right. Hey, Kathy, how you doing? Look like a teddy bear. Thank you. I appreciate it. All right, so let's go ahead. If you are on Periscope, do me a favor. If you're on Periscope, go ahead and share this with your followers. Invite them. Do you even lift? Of course I do. So let's go ahead. Like I said, if you are on Periscope, go ahead and hit share for me. I appreciate it. And of course, make sure. Say, man, look like. Oh, all right. Well, anyway, that's great. Wonderful. You're weird. So you need a life. We're gonna go ahead and get started. If you, like I said, if you're on Facebook, go ahead and tag people and let them know that we about to get started. Y'all don't on Periscope. Y'all don't play me on the hearts today. We gonna go ahead. I got 30 seconds before we gonna jump into this. Hey Halima, how you doing today? I hope everyone has had a really good day. I have. I'm a little hoarse today. So yeah, but that's all good. That is all good. All right. So the reason we are doing this is I get, you guys, I get a lot of questions. Billy, Miss Billy, how you doing? The reason we're doing this is, of course, I get a lot of questions about this topic in particular. And I think that a lot of us are really unsure what's going on. Oh, how you doing? As we're trying to figure out as singles, especially those of us who are single, and who have consistently tried to have healthy relationships, why we keep having some of the same issues. And I myself have asked this question of myself before. Why is it that, not even in the sense that, all right, Adam, what's going on? Not even in the sense that to say that I am perfect. Felicia, how you doing? Because I think all of us are mature enough and old enough to say that we are not perfect. We do make mistakes, and that, and at least can own that part of the reasons that some of our relationships, if not most of them, have failed, have in part due to us. And if you cannot come to that conclusion, then that's something we can talk about offline. But it's definitely, but beyond that, even beyond that, why is it that it seems like that every person that we attract, every person whom we go out with, always seems to be the same? And at first I thought, and I'm going to look at myself, I thought it was because, in all honesty, I'm the type of person who has preferences. I was very, and have been very detailed at certain portions of my life about the preferences that I like. For example, there was a time in my life when I was my freshman, sophomore year in college, when I first really realized, what's going on, Brandon? When I first realized that God had called me to ministry, that like I was so focused on whomever she is, she has to be a first lady, and and she has to fit the mold. I didn't know what a first lady was, to be honest. I just knew that I had some pretty good ones in my past, so all of them, in my mind, had to fit that mold. That was dumb. I was 17. It was, I'm gonna say it was dumb. It was immature. And then there was a time when I was in high school that me and my buddies, we had a preference of the young lady that I dated or that I eventually had to be a certain height. And this is how strange we were. Like she had to be tall enough she had to be tall enough that the top of her head reached like the top of my chest, so that way when I hugged her, her head fit perfectly in my chest. That was kind of what we thought. That was what I thought back then. However, as we grow and as we change, as we mature, we realize that sometimes it's really the preferences that we think we should have are not necessarily the things that we want, or they're not really as important. Yeah, I did, Erica. Don't judge me, okay? Don't judge me. And so we make our decisions based on that. As we get older, again, we realize, and one of the things I had to learn was that oftentimes we see things based upon our physical perception, and they're not really what's really going on, because there's something spiritually that's going on. There's some things that are happening internally with other people and with us that we need or that they're doing that we don't know about. So oftentimes we have to rely on God, and we have to in part show us as he matures us, reveal to us the things that we really need. So if that is the case, then the question still remains, then why is it that we still attract the same type of person? Even if we do get to the point where we start, where we remove our limits of she has to be tall enough to where her head fits into my chest when I hug her, was that because of something you saw growing up with the family? No, that actually was not something I saw growing up with my family. Actually, that one, I can tell you, that one came from, I dated a young lady who was short, and I liked the fact, I liked it. That's really all it came from. And so, yeah, it was nothing really all that deep. It was just, I dated somebody who was short, and yeah. So the question again is, why is it that we do that? Here it is. I'm going to tell you. The reason you keep attracting the same type of person is because a lot of times you always had that problem. Well, you should have, because you're like 7 feet tall. But the reason we keep attracting the same type of person is very simple. Because what is in you is for the type of person that you attract. And I say that that can be in a good and a bad way. Here it is. Inside of each of us, there are certain things, there are certain gifts, there are certain talents, there are certain purposes that lie within us. And it is our, whether we try to, whether we're not trying to, whether we're operating out of a place of wholeness or a place of brokenness, whether we operate from a place of integrity or whether we're operating from a place of not being integrated, of not an integritous place, those things still come out from us. One of the biggest things, and I'm gonna start with women. One of the biggest complaints that I hear when I talk to women is lately they say that they deal with men who don't have certain things, or they feel like they're raising a boy. And to them, I tell them that in part, the reason that you attract that type of man is because in you is a nurturer, that you are by nature, most women are by nature nurturers. The difference is, and the issue is that you don't, you attract the nurturer from you, but yet the man is attracted to the nurturer in you, yet you're not able and mature enough to understand that you're not supposed to nurture a little boy. You're supposed to nurture the purpose that is inside of a man. And so there is a huge difference in trying to raise a boy and trying to help nurture the purpose in a man. Same thing when it comes to men. A lot of the men that I talk to now, they're saying, listen, I just feel like, she wants something in me. She wants money and she wants this and, wants me to always talk and whatever. And I just can't do that. And I'm saying to him, No, what she's looking for is she's looking for the man in you, the security part of you, the stable part in you that you have by nature. She's looking for that. And you're not, as a man, you're not mature enough, or you're not able to identify enough that the type of, or the place that she is not where you need her to be. And so what we wind up doing is jumping into relationships prematurely, or we jump into relationships with people, whether they're premature, whether we're premature. We jump into relationships that are never meant to be, because we have identified with something in somebody, and we try to hook up. And I say this often, we try to hook up our dysfunction with their dysfunction and think that the two dysfunctions together are going to somehow function properly. And that doesn't work. And so what we have to do is we have to understand that, yes, I am, as a man, the type of person who provides security. However, I am not God who can provide security on God's level. I cannot, as a woman, nurture you to a place of wholeness, because I am not God, and that is God's responsibility. But I can, as a woman, be someone who can help you as you are pursuing wholeness through God. Does that make sense? So there's a completely different level of brokenness that we try to go into and we try to fix when we can't do that. It is totally impossible for us as men or as women to play a role that we were not designed to play. We were not designed to fix anybody. We were not designed to be everything for anybody. We weren't designed to be the type of person to come along and be the savior of whomever. We were really designed to come along and be help meets for the person that we are with. And so what happens is that we step outside of the limited role and the limited capacity that we have, and into a dimension that was never designed for us. And then we are frustrated when something doesn't go the right way that we want it to go to. Hold on one second. Of course, Facebook Live just crashed on me. Sorry. Hold on. Give me 1 second, Periscope. I apologize. All right. Okay. Sorry about that. It crashed on me. So what I was saying, for those of you guys, so when we step into that role, it is often, so here, let me give you this example. Have you ever driven a car? And so I have, I had a motorcycle, and the first day, before you can go to motorcycle class, before you can ride a motorcycle, what you should do, not what everybody does, but what you technically should do, is you should take a motorcycle training course. And so the motorcycle training course that I took, me and my dad took together, it was a all-day Saturday, all-day Sunday type class. Now, mind you, neither of us have ever ridden motorcycles before, but because we wanted to learn how to ride these motorcycles, and on top of that, we wanted the discount, because you got, I think it was like a 15% discount off of your motorcycle insurance when you took the class. So we go to the class, and we go in, and when we go in and take the course, we have it's a pretty cool, it's a pretty good day. We're on these little bitty motorcycles, and you ride around the parking lot or wherever you're going. And then at the end of these 2 days, you take a test where you practice all of the stuff that you did in the course. I passed the course. Nope. Well, no, let me take that back. My dad passed the course. I failed the course the first test, and then I come back the second test, and I passed it the second. They let you take it again, and I passed it. So I go and so after that, the following week, me and him go, and we go to the motorcycle shop to buy our motorcycles. And the guy asked, he says, "So is this your first motorcycle?" I'm like, "Yeah, this is my first motorcycle." The way the shop is set is the garage where they maintenance is at the bottom of a very steep hill. And he says, "Well, if this is your first time, instead of you riding it up this hill, I'm going to ride it to the top of the hill for you so you can just pull out and leave." Cool, no big deal, whatever. In my mind, I have taken the course. I am ready to go. We get on these motorcycles, and immediately everything that I learned in the class, I completely forgot. Like completely forgot. Because in the class, there was no traffic. Like it's just you and the other people riding the motorcycles. And so we pull out on the street, and I forget the whole, I've never driven a manual a stick too at that point. So I forget the whole, you got to hit the clutch before you change the gear and, hit throttle, all that. I completely forgot. So I am on a very busy street with cars whizzing by me going, it seemed like 100 miles an hour. They probably weren't, but that's just how it felt. And I'm stuck in first gear. And we are literally, maybe, if we take the side roads, 20 minutes away from our house, or from my dad's house. I promise you all, it took us 2.5 hours to get home because I got lost driving up then we got to a part where we were going up a hill, and I forgot. Again, I've never driven, a stick before, that when you go up a hill, you kind of have to switch, downshift into, like third, fourth, fifth gear and pull the throttle. So I'm going up on a motorcycle, a brand new motorcycle, going up the hill, and I get so far, and then I stop, and my bike starts going back down the hill. Of course, I freak out because I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm scared, but I can't because I got to be cool about this thing. So what do I do in the middle of this street? I lay my motorcycle down. Now, mind you, I'm supposed to be the one who knows what they're doing because my dad, of course, has no idea. So anyway, I pick my bike up, I pull it to the side of the highway. By now, I am frustrated that, okay, what am I going to do? I'm scared because I surely can't say anything. And now I'm just stuck on the side of the road. And oh, by the way, guess what? I look to the side and my bike is now leaking coolant. So now I don't know what that means. I'm like, oh my God, is my bike going to start? I just bought it. It's brand new. What in the world am I going to do? We make it another, I'd sit there probably another 20 minutes. My bike cools off. We keep driving. Now I get to the place. Yeah, this is just a terrible. So then we get to the place. Hold on. We get about, I'm maybe a mile from the house. And I'm going up, and I finally pulled over, and I called one of my friends. She's like, and I said, listen, I need you to come get me. She rides a motorcycle too. You need to come get me and ride with me because now I'm scared and I'm stuck and I don't know what to do. So her and her boyfriend at the time come and they ride with me and my dad the rest of the way home. 2 hours, 2.5 hours for a 20-minute ride, right? Here is when it gets really bad, and the point of this story. I get home only to find out that in the first day of this motorcycle, in 2.5 hours, because I did not know how to properly shift gears, I rode most of the time in the wrong gear. And in the process of riding in the wrong gear, in one day, I burnt the clutch out of my motorcycle. I called the shop, and first of all, they laughed at me because they're like, dude, first of all, nobody burns the clutch out in the first day. But I burnt the clutch out in the first day of having this motorcycle. And I say that to say, here is the problem. When you are in dysfunctional relationships, when you are constantly attracting the wrong person, when you are constantly not allowing yourself enough time to heal, and you attract the wrong person consistently, what you eventually do is you eventually burn yourself out on relationships. Now, the good part about that is the thing that is in you that is attracting these people is not going anywhere. You will always be a nurturer because that is the design that the architect gave you. You were designed to be a person with security. You are designed to be a woman who is a nurturer. You are designed to be a man who comes alongside and helps. Again, that's why it is called a help meet. But you are not designed to operate in a capacity that is not befitting the way that you operate. So even though the Bible even tells us that there are certain yokes that we are not to carry because we know that those are certain things. The Bible tells you, it says you that the government is supposed to be on his shoulders, that his yoke is easy and his burdens are light. You're not supposed to be in a situation, you are not designed to carry certain kind of weight. So when you find yourself constantly attracting the same person, don't get discouraged. Understand that the enemy has perverted something in your life and has put you in a position where you are now in a position where you are attracting something that is just not matured or healed. It does not mean that you are broken or that it's something that there's something wrong with you. It just means you need to take some time. It just means you need to understand the capacity that you carry and understand that there are certain things that you can't do in certain seasons. It just means that you might need to wait a little bit longer to the person who is designed for you, who is to help meet you, and you help meet them until they are finished maturing. It just means that right now is not your time, but there is absolutely nothing wrong with you. And that's what you got to realize, because what he wants you to do is he wants you to get yourself in a position where you say, you know what, I'm done. I don't want a relationship. I don't want to be with anybody. I don't want to get out there and try this again. I can do this all by myself, because I am here to tell you, you cannot. Now, some people are. Let me say that. Some people have a gift of being single, and if you have it, God bless you. Great, do it. But for those of us who are not designed to be single, and I'm not, it is not a bad thing, and you are not supposed to. Again, you are not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to be by yourself and to be comfortable. When I say comfortable, I mean you're supposed to desire. If you're supposed to be married, be married. If you're supposed to be single, be single. But don't rush it, and don't put yourself in a position where, again, that you are taking on something that you don't. Did I have a bad breakup? Sure, I have. Oh yeah, I've had bad breakups before, and I've told you all this before. I'm married. I am divorced, and no, I'm not bitter at all, at all. Actually, no, there is like not an ounce of bitterness in me at all. Do I get angry? Yeah. But no, I'm not bitter at all. And so, so I think we just got to come to that conclusion. And we've got to come to the conclusion, and no, I definitely don't hate women. I love women. Just, yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. Anyway, I'm on the other side of that. I need deliverance from liking women too much sometimes. But anyway, so it is just, again, there's nothing wrong with you. Be the type of person, like I said, yeah, it's the truth. Be the type of person, again, who understands and is comfortable with the design. Y'all can laugh. It's the truth. I do. I like women. Can't no dude do nothing for me but give me some dap. Like, hey, bro, what's up? And after that, keep it moving. But again, like I said, it is the design. God designed you to be a certain way, and you've got to be comfortable being the way that God designed you, because that's the only way you're going to be comfortable. That is the only way you are going to be in a place where you need to be. That is the only, again, he designed us a certain way. If you can imagine, think about it this way. God designed us, each and every one of us, in such an intricate way that even though we are similar, there is not one person in this world who is alike. There are a lot of people. There are a couple of people who I know who I could be like, oh my God, we kind of look alike. But do people ever ask you why you are still single? Yes, people ask me why I'm single all the time. But it is the design, like I said, for God to make you totally unique, because the person who you're supposed to be with fits perfectly. And one of the things I tell people is, listen, we all got issues, up into and including me. Everybody has issues, but you've got to understand that when your issues and the person, okay, we know you love the lady. I know you know, Tierra. But when your issues and that person's issues get together, you are then a conduit. You're not going to fix them. You are the conduit for the healing that takes place that only God can bring. You are the person who helps facilitate the full destiny and purpose for that. That's why the Bible says that when a man finds a wife, he finds a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord. It's not to say that he or she does not have favor before they find a wife or before you're married. It just means that there is such a destiny, there is such a divine connection, because you and this person have now entered into the same type of covenant that God has with us. And so because we are hooked up together, we then can do things together that we couldn't do individually. That's the beauty in it, and that's why he loves marriage so much, and that's why we should desire it. All right. I'm so glad you said this, because I've decided that I'm fine by myself, but lately I really want to be in a relationship, share my life, love, and so much more. Yes. No, I understand. Trust me. I do understand. You have one question. Go ahead and ask. Tupac or Biggie? Both. You can't separate Tupac or Biggie. Sorry. They're both great. Let's see. Do we have any questions? Did I miss any questions? I'm sorry. I was talking, and sometimes I miss questions. I apologize, but no, you're correct. You definitely have to. I think we all go through that where we feel like, you know what, I can do this by myself. But again, there are certain things in life that happens that help us realize that we are limited in capacity. And it's like, you know what, I'm limited in my capacity, and there can be so much more that I can do once I'm partnered with the right person. It's just that simple. And I think was a Genesis. Is it okay to pray for a husband? I would say I don't see anything wrong with it to pray for a husband. I think what you should do, definitely if you're single, is you definitely should be praying for whomever your husband is. Again, I won't lie to people and tell you that I think everybody's going to be married. I don't think that, because obviously there are going to be some people who are going to be single. But if you believe in your heart that you are supposed to be married, then I think you should definitely pray for your spouse, your husband. Same thing for men. I think if you're a man and you're not praying for your future wife, I think you should. That border on the wall behind these people. Oh, this one over here, the love one. Yeah. I bought that one. Actually, I bought that one after my divorce, in the time where I was really like, yeah, whatever, the love. So I bought that because I was like, you know what? Yeah, right. You're lying. You know you ain't gonna be single forever. I was like, I was one of them that was like, I'll be single forever. I don't need a wife. Yeah, no, I'm lying. That's not true. So yeah, that's why I bought that. So did I miss any other questions? He said Trump or Hillary. I'm not all too keen on either of them, to be honest. What else? Timely counter the board on the wall. Yeah, but again, if you want to be married, the other thing I would do. Thank you for asking that question, Aaron. I would also say this: is it's okay to pray and to desire it. What I would tell you is don't put yourself in the position, especially young ladies, women, excuse me, for women. You all fight that whole I need to be married by a certain time and have kids by a certain time thing, and if not, something is wrong with me. Men don't typically deal with that as hard as women do. But I would tell you that if that's something that you're struggling with, again, be encouraged that there is no time frame to when this is supposed to happen. And we can all, say, I plan by 35 to be here, here, and here. Men typically struggle with that in their career. But when it comes to marriage, we typically don't. So don't be discouraged if you're not married and you want to be and you think you should be now. Again, there is absolutely nothing wrong with you. Oh, thank you, ma'am. I appreciate that. Is it okay for a woman to ask a man out? Ooh, Aaron, good question. I would say I don't think it's necessarily anything wrong with it. However, here is what I would say. I would say that as a woman, what you should do, and this is the adage I use. Do you all remember the Cosby Show where the grandmother tells her, you got to give a little leg and take it back, and give a little leg and take it back. And I don't know if y'all remember that one. I think that as a woman, what you should do is you should put yourself, hey, Krishan, that you should put yourself in position and put yourself in a place where he knows that you want him to ask, and he knows that you will say yes if he asks. I would say do that as opposed to asking. Not because I'm a little. I will be admit and tell you I am a little bit of a traditionalist. A little bit. Again, I'm not all the way, but there is a part of men that we are hunters. And so again, I'm not saying that we should be like, yeah, but if we know, even if we've been brokenhearted, if we know that a woman is attracted to us and like she wants it, we'll ask. We will definitely ask. What did I miss? Hold on. Oh, okay. No time limit needed, but the requirement is no crazy baby daddy issues. Yeah, if you are still single, I will say that. If you still, then definitely handle that, because if you've got, technically, seriously, I'm not being funny, but for men and women, if you are single, you should be handling your business. Period. How do you do that? It depends on how you know the person. So there are certain signs that each of us has been looked to. I'm terrible at that. I'm just gonna throw it out there. But if you've seen him and you know how he operates, then you know that there are certain things that he likes. First of all, we look at things like if you're around us and you're always smiling and laughing and having a good time and stuff like that, and you like, hey, hey, ask me out. Like, give us the clues, give us some hints. Again, you can do anything short of asking, but just I don't necessarily, I can't say that you should just be like, hey, you want to go out? But hey, we got such and such going on. Are you going? Like, again, hint around it that like, hey, I want you to ask me out, but don't. Yeah, some men don't catch hints very well. Does not catch hints at all. He is terrible. Absolutely terrible at catching hints. Absolutely terrible. Do not try to paint the red flags purple. Yeah, don't do that. Yeah, Aaron, and like I said, that's a tough question. But that's a tough question. But again, let us know. Let us know that that's what you want, but don't try to force it. Because if you force it, and the other thing I would say is, if you know that that's what you want, don't allow yourself to be friend zoned either. Like, don't do it. Like, no, I would never. Do not allow yourself to be friend zoned if you know that that's not what you want. Be friendly, but don't allow somebody to friend zone you. And what I mean by that is, like, y'all know what friend zone is, because y'all do it to us too. So sometimes you gotta, like, and I'll tell you, I'm not your friend like that. I'm not your friend zone friend, so don't do it. We don't sometimes catch hints. Sometimes we are sidestepping. That's true. Sometimes we do sidestep the hints. But again, I typically just don't know. I'll be honest. I typically have no clue when somebody is flirting or trying to let me know. I'm pretty bad at that. And I admit that. I don't at all. What else? All right. Yeah, I'll be funny. It's funny. I actually have people. I'm like, was that a flirt? Did I miss that? They're like, yes, that was a flirt. I'm like, oh, missed it. Hey, Nisi, I don't. All right. What else? Any other questions? Are we good? We good? All right, we're good. Hey, why what? Why? I'm sorry. Why what? And while you're typing that, I'm gonna say this: if you guys don't know, make sure, first of all, tomorrow night we're talking. Tomorrow night on the Scoop, me, Q, Rashad, and Takesha are talking about things that Mama said. So call us. We want to hear what are some of the things that your mother taught you. Like, what are some of the sayings? Like, my mother has some sayings that I'll never forget. Why am I bad at catching hints? Oh, okay. I'm bad at catching hints. I really don't know. That's really a good question. I usually think that when people say things to me, they're just being nice and complimentary. I don't take it. I take it just for that. Like, if somebody, like she just, like, when somebody just said that I was handsome, it's like, oh, that was nice, thank you. I just took it as that. I didn't take it as anything more than that. But I just don't. What's going on, brother? Yes, I don't. And so I think part of the reason is, while going through divorce, is it okay to date? No, it is not. Do not date while you're going through divorce. No, do not date while you're going through a divorce. Here is why. When you date while you're going through a divorce, that's a good question. Um, Shut up, Sasha. When you date while you're going through divorce, you're really not doing any service to the other person. Because even though, number one, you're still married, but I'm not going to even do that. But I'm not even go there. But the other part of it is um, when you are going through the process of divorce. I don't know if you guys remember, if you guys saw saw what I was talking about the other day, but there are certain lessons and emotions that you need to deal with, that you need to properly process. And the process of divorce is emotional. And so while you're going through that phase, while you're trying to really learn what happened and why, why this happened, why that happened, what are the things that you need to do better in the next relationship, it's very difficult to do that while you're trying to develop something new with somebody else. Plus, most of us who, when we go through divorce, are still, whether we like to admit it or not, still have a lot of brokenness that is happening, and so we have to really be careful that we don't transfer whatever broken things that we're going through to the next person. He said, "No, I got to get on to get over." That's not true. So again, and I'm not saying that I know some people who have been and who have done that and have had successful marriages. So I'm saying I don't think that that's something you should do. I think you should finish dealing what you're going through. Finish dealing with all of the emotions and processing all of the emotions that you have, and then try to move on to the next one. And you're talking to, admittedly, you are talking to someone who tried to date before his divorce was final. And for me, it didn't work. For a lot of other people who I know, it did not work. And so, yeah, you want to heal and you want to process first before you begin again to go through that. Before you get into another serious relationship. So, not during a split up from a serious relationship. So, okay. Yeah, that's my thought. Like I said, ultimately, you're still married. So, but y'all know my feelings is, first of all, and uncertain question, close one chapter. Yeah, that's correct. Yes, I am very naive. I'm trying to see if does that count for? No, Krishan, it does not. Sorry. What that counts for is that you ain't really ready to do it. All right. Any other questions? I know that's a good try though. Anybody else? Any other questions? All right. So yeah, make sure you, like I said, what you say? I don't know what you said. Hey, Leah, most men are done before the divorce final healing requires moving on. Most men are done, true, with the relationship. That is true. No, I don't scope every day. Most men are typically done with the relationship. But even though you're done with the relationship, again, there are still some healing and some that has to go through some emotional healing. So does it eventually require moving on? Yes, but moving on first requires you to deal with the mental, the spirit, and the spiritual things that you need to move on from. And you can't really move on from those while you are still carrying the baggage and the scars from the last person. That's really not fair. Like I said, I don't believe that is fair to the other person, that you're still, acting out like they're the last person. So does it provide, in all honesty, does it provide some very good moments? No doubt. Yeah, it does. And does it, in moments take away from the hurt and the pain and all that kind of stuff that you're going through? No doubt. But for the long-term success of your healing, I think that it's just easy for you, and better, to just wait until it's done, heal, and then move forward. So Ty wants to, God will, that takes time, but definitely, it's not so much, in that instance, it's not so much that you are, the question was, will God break the soul tie once the divorce is final? It's not so much that he will break the soul tie, but again, that's a part of healing. You better not, Sasha. But what he does is he heals you. And I say this your spouse, your ex-wife, husband, will always be a part of your life, in the sense that because they were a part of your life, especially if they're a part of your life for any level of significance. And if you add to the layer of that, if you have children, then there's definitely going to always be a connection there, because you'll always have some level of communication about children. And again, this really, a lot of this does depend on the way that the breakup happened, because, something like that. So what happens is you learn, again, to heal. You learn that, ultimately, like I said, it is that part of you is healed, and you're able to move on. So yeah, to Mark, what Mark just said is pretty accurate. The soul tie doesn't break because of the paper. God, you have to see God for your whole wholeness. That's your wholeness, excuse me. But that's actually correct. So it takes time. And it doesn't mean that, like you said, that just because you're not married, it's over. It means it's going to take time, because, like I said, you've got kids, you've got, legal things that you might still have to deal with. You're going to have conversations that you still might have to have. And so all of that, if you're not careful, can then bring back all of those old feelings, and still really make it a longer healing period. But those are also indicators to let you know where you really are. Because, if you, just like even in any other type of relationship, if you had a fight with your good friend and you see them and every time you see them or their name comes up, you want to fight, that there's something, there's still an issue there. There's still an offense there that you haven't healed from. So it's the same thing, but it's going to be deeper because of the covenant of the relationship that you and this person shared. So it does take time, and yes, he will heal it. But it doesn't happen just because the divorce is final.